To the NBA we go. It's playoff time. Game 4 between, wait for it, Thunder Nuggets. Shake time. Still not the issue the Cavs are having, but I digress. Jokic top of the 3, Nuggets down 4. Now Murray finds Aaron Gordon. That is a 3. And the Nuggets suddenly have a lead by 1, 53-52. Couple of possessions later, it's now 55-52. Murray is like, well, I can hit a 3 as well, and it is 58-52. Then Jokic, wait for it, another 3. The Nuggets shot 3 for 22 from 3 in the first half. Then they came out in the second half, well, specifically in the third quarter, 7 for 11. Jokic had 27 points, 13 rebounds, but a playoff low in assists. In the fourth, here come the Thunder. Now down 73-72. Couple of possessions later. OKC, sharing is caring. Look at the ball movement. Jason Wallace with the 3. OKC back out in front. And you're going to see a lot of the Thunder here because all of this, including SGA getting past Murray, part of an 11-0 run in the fourth quarter for the Nuggets. More Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. More of his fourth quarter play coming up in a second. 2 possessions later, though, Nuggets trying to stay in this. It's 84-78. Murray, he had 17 points. The Nuggets are only down 4. But with 2:30 to play, the lead is now 5. Make it 7. SGA had 25. He was clutch. Series is now tied at 2. Thunder win it 92-87.
Those are the moments where the guy on the team earns his buck. You earn your money. You close games, you win games, and that's what everything's about, winning games. And the later you go in the season, the better the teams, the closer the games, and you need to rise to the occasion.
We need to give ourselves a chance. We need to play physical. We need to be more physical than them, aggressive. And, of course, they're favorites. They're playing amazing. They won 6, 7, how many games they won. And we need to give ourselves a chance to give ourselves a chance to win a game.
Can you lean on the confidence that you've been there, done that, you've won there? I mean,
yeah, it's best out of 3. It's not a funeral, guys. It's best out of 3. We lost the game. On to the next.
On to the next, and if you are a Thunder fan, you're hoping you get more of this from SGA. He scored 8 points in the final 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. That's after he had none points on 7 shots in the final 6 minutes of the fourth quarter in Game 3. OKC as a team also outscored the Nuggets 12-0 in clutch.
And last game I took the bad, and tonight I'll take the good.
Thunder take Game 4. They beat the Nuggets 92-87. The series is tied. To the countdown crew we go.
Well, it was ugly, but the Oklahoma City Thunder, they got it done. Stephen A., Kendrick Perkins, I'm Malika Andrews. Stephen A., I'm going to start with you here on the Oklahoma City side of things. You were challenging to see more from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and he stepped up down the stretch. It wasn't perfect, but he did.
He did step up. He hit 3 of 7 shots. Give him credit for that. He was a presence offensively. Give him credit for that. Collectively, they played defense. They deserve a boatload of credit for that. They were on the road. They knew they couldn't afford to go down 3-1 because you weren't going to overcome a 3-1 deficit against Jokic, Porter, Aaron Gordon and the rest of the crew. Russell Westbrook, let me throw him in there. And you answered the call. And not only did you do it because of SGA and your defense collectively, but you also did it because of a bench in Caruso, in Wallace, in Wiggins that assisted in outscoring Denver's bench like 35-8, I believe that was the number.
Correct.
So I'm looking at it from that standpoint, and I'm saying to myself, to do all of that on the road with your backs against the proverbial wall, with people like me and others saying, you lose this game, your season is done, and they answered the call, that is what potential champions and potential imminent MVPs are made of. That's what they showed us Sunday.
I'm looking at Jokic. Y'all remember we was talking about earlier about how Jokic had the new haircut, the little boosie fade. He came in
supposed to work
because he wanted the new look, right?
Change it up a little
because
bit.
he shot 8 for 25 in Game 3. Okay, he wanted to bounce back. He shot 7 for 22 tonight. Like, this is the 3rd straight game that Jokic has struggled, right? And then, so I'm looking at it, it's the bodies, right? You look at Jalen Williams coming in off the bench. You got Isaiah Hartenstein starting and setting the tone with Chet Holmgren meeting him at the basket every time. And then you have these piranhas that are swarming every single time that he's catching the ball. And when you look at it, he has no driving gaps. Like, OKC does an excellent job from the perimeter of taking away driving gaps. That's why you see Denver with so many wide open threes, because they're going to bank Russell Westbrook, Christian Brown, Those guys are going to have to knock down threes at a high level. I don't believe they could do it. Again, this was a game that was won in the trenches by Oklahoma City. I got to tip my hats off to him because SGA was cool, but he wasn't Shea Butter.
Well, we have our Game 5 here coming up on Tuesday. We will see if Denver can punch back on the road.
We will see, but here's what ESPN Bet says. They heavily favor the Thunder at home, Game 5, giving them minus 550 odds. OKC is currently 10.5-point favorite. That would be the largest spread in a series that's tied at 2 since 2016.
As poorly as they have shot it from 3, it is who they are. They're going to get a ton of threes up.
It's a Boston 3-party here in the first half.
The team is so talented, just a matter of time.
It's a completely different Celtic team here.
And this is a team that has kept its foot on the gas pedal.
It was an important game. It was important for us to respond. You got to beat us 4 times, not twice. First half was fun. Second half is even more fun. So looking forward to Game 4.
That Game 4 is Monday, and to add injury to insult, Karl Anthony Towns hurt a finger on his left hand in Game 3. At one point, Towns said it's broken and was coy about whether he'd get x-rays post-game. But Cat, a full participant in practice on Sunday, expectation is he'll play in Game 4.
It's the playoffs. What we did last game wasn't acceptable. We have to come out to start the game with a sense of urgency, and that's something that we didn't do. We got to give them credit. They're the defending champs. We knew that we weren't going to just lay down and let us win 4 in a row and go on our merry way. We knew that wasn't going to happen. So now it's time to, like I said, watch film, go through our adjustments, and come out tomorrow. But most importantly, come out with energy and physicality.
We've got Brian Windhorst back with us. Brian, sounds like Cat will go. He and Jalen Brunson make up the Knicks' big 2. But Brunson's had to work really hard for his points in this series. We know Drew Holiday, a really great on-ball defender. What has Boston done to keep Brunson in check?
Well, they put a lot of size on him, and they're putting a lot of different guys on him. But, when you start with Derek White and Drew Holiday, you're talking about 2 of the best on-ball defenders in the league. And they haven't gotten as much traction out of their pick-and-roll game as they always do. I know that Brunson got a lot of positivity out of those fourth quarters in Game 1 and Game 2, but he has just not been himself. He's shooting under 40% in this series, which is way below the efficiency they need out of him. His free throws are down 3 a game from the last series. And, the Knicks are only averaging 95 points in regulation in these 3 games. And the Pacers are, the Celtics are going to keep fouling Mitchell Robinson, which is going to reduce their offensive efficiency even more. If Jalen Brunson is going to be able to put an imprint on this series, he needs to do it in Game 4.
Okay, really none of the stars are shooting particularly well. Tatum and Brown did enough in Game 3, but didn't really shine. What does Boston need from those 2 guys to tie this series up?
Yeah, I just want to point out, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are still in a slump. I know that the Celtics hit a lot more 3-pointers. They actually hit double the amount of 3-pointers in Game 3 versus Game 2. But it wasn't really from Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They had a decent start to the game. Tatum came out and hit his first 2 threes, but he didn't shoot the ball very well. Jaylen Brown is still shooting 26% on threes in this series. So those guys are still not out of their funk yet. And I would look for the Celtics to continue to try to get those guys easier looks, and those guys being high-volume scorers. When they're able to get going, the Celtics are really hard to beat. So the Knicks actually shouldn't feel that bad about the way Game 3 went, at least as it came to defending those 2 stars.
Yeah, Brian, and we're at a really critical point. Game 4 Monday. Celtics win, series back on serve. They lose, and they're on the brink of elimination. The champs could be in trouble. Brian, getting us straight on Celtics-Knicks.
The guy on the team earns his buck. You earn your money. You close games, you win games, and that's what everything's about, winning games. And the later you go in the season, the better the teams, the closer the games, and you need to rise to the occasion.
We need to give ourselves a chance. We need to play physical. We need to be more physical than them, aggressive. And, of course, they're favorites. They're playing amazing. They won 6, 7, how many games they won. We need to give ourselves a chance to give ourselves a chance to win a game.
Can you lean on the confidence that you've been there, done that, you've won there? I mean,
it's best out of 3. It's It's not a funeral, guys. It's best out of 3. We lost the game. On to the next.
Well, it's not a funeral, but the Thunder have life because SGA came up clutch. The Thunder led by 2 with 6 minutes left in regulation, and then Shea took over, getting 8 of his 25 points when it mattered most. Sunday was a bounce-back game for the MVP favorite. In Game 3, struggled in the game's final moments, going 0 for 7 in the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các bạn. Lại là mình đây. Mình sẽ gửi đến các bạn những sản phẩm cắt dán đẹp hơn mỗi ngày. Những sản phẩm tuyệt vời. Đấy, cốc trà sữa này. Đây, trên tay của mình đây là keo dán giấy này các bạn ạ. Và để tạo ra được những sản phẩm để tạo ra được những video cắt dán đẹp như thế này thì mình sẽ cần có những dụng cụ, những đồ vật để mình tạo nên. Đây, trước mặt của mình đây, trên tay mình đang cầm đây là những giấy thủ công màu các bạn ạ. Nó rất nhiều màu sắc luôn, các bạn có nhìn thấy màu sắc của nó. Đấy. Trên tay của mình đây cầm đây màu xanh này, màu xanh là lá cây, màu vàng này các bạn ạ. Đây là màu đỏ. Đấy. Giấy màu cam này, giấy màu xanh này. Đấy. Mình rất nhiều những sản phẩm màu sắc. Đấy. Và để tạo ra được những sản phẩm đẹp và ý nghĩa thì mình cần có một cây bút và chiếc kéo này, kéo để cắt này, hồ dán thì để dán những sản phẩm vào với nhau để cho nó đa dạng màu sắc và tạo nên điểm nhấn cho sản phẩm. Và còn những dụng cụ bổ trợ cho mình như là đây là chiếc chân kẹp điện thoại này. Chân kẹp điện thoại, đây chiếc điện thoại để mình quay lại quá trình mình tạo ra video. Đèn hỗ trợ ánh sáng này các bạn này. Đèn hỗ trợ ánh sáng. Và kênh của mình thì cũng rất may mắn đã nhận được nút bạc từ YouTube các bạn này. Chiếc nút bạc này mình cũng đã nhận được quãng thời gian gần đây rồi. Đó là thành quả của mình nha. Thành quả rất chi là mỹ mãn các bạn này. Khi mình tạo ra những sản phẩm thật là viral đây. Sau khi mình cắt dán xong video, mình sẽ tải video lên máy tính của mình nha. Trên máy tính của mình thì có phần mềm Camtasia để chỉnh sửa. Mình sẽ ưu tiên chỉnh sửa trên Camtasia. Sau khi mình edit và chỉnh sửa xong thì mình sẽ xuất ra thôi, xuất ra và đăng lên kênh cho các bạn xem. Các bạn hãy chào đón những video đẹp và tuyệt vời để gửi tặng tất cả các bạn nha. Đấy. Đấy, trời. Đây. Đấy. Đây là lọ hồ dán này. Đấy. Phải không? Sắc luôn. Và bây giờ mình sẽ mời các bạn đi xem mình tạo ra những sản phẩm này nha. Đây những sản phẩm tiêu biểu của mình này. Mình vẫn còn lưu trữ lại tại nơi làm việc này. Đấy. Rất chi là đẹp. Các bạn hãy cùng theo dõi mình tạo ra sản phẩm nha.
Xin chào các bạn nha. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ hướng dẫn các bạn cách dán nha.
mình chứ thế nào.